Good afternoon, everybody. Today we're looking at Uniqlo.com because about a month ago, Uniqlo.com did a website redesign and it's not very good. This is it right here. As you can see, it's very fancy, very flashy, um, but it sucks. And we're going to talk about exactly why. I'll just give you a pro tip right here at the top of the video. If your website needs a tooltip, rethink it. Okay. That's already a horrible start. Just stop what you're doing, go back to the drawing board. But yeah, this is the website. You might be thinking, well, this looks pretty standard for a fashion company. Um, and yeah, in some ways it does. Up here is you might think this is the top nav. It's not. Like, if I want the men's clothing, I would think that would open a menu, but it doesn't. It just sends me to another page of the same kind of stuff, but for men. Um, Now, what if I want like a pair of pants or a dress shirt? I can scroll down through this, I think, endless stream of like promotional pictures and just hope that, if I'm looking for wide leg pants, this will pop up and I can click on it and that'll take me there. Or I can follow the tooltip down here and try to search. All right, so let's try that. As you can see, what that does is opens up this huge menu that takes up the entire screen. Um, the only thing that really changes between these different menus, because they are all different depending on what's selected up here, is the little images next to the menu items. So it actually took me a couple tries to see that something was changing there at all. But it is. So I don't know. I'm looking for a dress shirt, right? So how about here? I got it on the first try. Dress shirts are a subcategory within the shirts and polos. Makes sense. Um, so now we've left behind, I'm not even going to talk about their marketing incentives. I've left behind the fancy landing pages, and now I'm just on like a website from 2016, 17. Like there's not even any padding between the images. These are all really, really generic product photos. And the PDPs aren't really any better here. Here's another stupid tooltip, and this one is even less useful. Like, get help with finding a size by clicking check my size. It's like, yeah, I figured that's what that did. I don't need a tooltip telling me to check my size because I can see that's how I check my size. I also don't need a tooltip saying, hey, read this line of text to learn about free shipping because I can just see that that's where it talks about free shipping. You know what I mean? It's kind of insulting my intelligence a little bit because this is so unbelievably simple. There's really not a lot here to even talk about. Um, there's nothing even really on this particular product page. I guess nobody's buying that shirt. Let's try another one. Okay, this one has more images. Nothing really, no model images. That would actually be nice because I'm curious how this neck would fit. Like if I button that all the way up like that, is it going to be really tight around my neck? I don't know because it's not on any models. I'd maybe keep these two images or this image and this image or something, and then have some model images. Here's a style hint, but he doesn't have the shirt buttoned up, so jury's still out. Who knows? But this shirt seems to actually have some order history, so got a little bit more going here for it. That's all well and good. It doesn't have to be fancy. You guys know I have no real issue with a simple PDP or a simple website. And this one pretty much checks all the boxes. Like, this is good. Yeah, I mean, this is good information to have. Tells me, gives me an idea about how it's going to feel, what the material is. I like having the returns policy right here on the PDP. I don't like how it's a bullet list that has no like line breaks. So it's just a solid block of text. I think for a company this size, like little details like this should really be caught. This is just kind of sad. There's no reason for this at all with the budget that these folks have. Um, what they were trying to do is emulate their app. Uniqlo has an app. They're trying to make their website work like their app. Well, that's a horrible idea anyway, because this is for cold traffic. You need to have people like they need to be able to navigate your website when they find it. And you got to assume that you're going to be working with some cold traffic. If somebody has your app, they're not cold traffic. They're probably going to be a little bit more patient with it. But the piece de resistance here is that I found some reviews of their app. Really confusing. Um, Processing return, very confusing. Nothing can be found easily or organically. Who designed this? This is easily the worst shopping app I've ever seen. Is it meant to be a flip book or a catalog? How do you expect customers to successfully use this? Impossible to navigate. That's what we're just talking about. What on earth were the developers thinking? I want to use this app to shop, not read magazine articles. And that's the feedback they should have gone with before launching this. And you can tell their inspiration, right? Like, because here's the mobile, all right? It feels a little bit more intuitive if we're in mobile. You can swipe. It feels just like you're swiping through a little mobile catalog. That might be good if I'm a big Uniqlo fan and I like their app or I like their stuff and I just want to see what they have. But for cold traffic or somebody who's like on your website to shop and not just look at stuff, this is bad. And then, unless you're looking for that particular category, you can't get anywhere without following the tooltip and being taken over by this gigantic. This isn't even a menu. This is just like one gigantic unformatted website. It's just pounding you in the face with category after category of stuff. Um, it's it's a really really good example of trying to do like a cool UI that's fancy and flashy and just totally missing the point, totally losing your focus, and coming out with something like this, which as cool as the UI seems on paper or something, the UX that it provides is just clunky and frustrating and makes no sense. Now, obviously, I don't have Uniqlo's numbers right in front of me, but I would be very interested to see their CVR and their bounce rate pre and post redesign, like launch of this. Because if I were a betting man, I'd say CVR has gone down because I would say bounce rate has probably gone up because people land on this and they don't know what to do. Now, is this going to destroy Uniqlo? No, I think they're a pretty big brand. And if you like Uniqlo clothing, you're going to come to their website and you're going to figure out how to buy a cardigan. You'll figure it out. But I think it could hurt their CVR a little bit, especially for newer customers. But I'm sure they'll be fine. Other brands have made, one might say, like smaller brand adjustments than this one, and really felt it in their bottom line. But only time will tell. I'm going to be watching this and see if it gets any changes here in the next. I don't know how much time you would need to really gauge something like this. Give it maybe a quarter to look at user metrics and just see how this website is performing, and then they'll probably want to make an adjustment after about a quarter. Just all things considered, or I don't know. Maybe they'll find that this performs a whole lot better than their old website. But I just can't imagine that would be so. This looks more like a normal website. So if you actually make it to a category, it's not too bad. Problem is, it's just one gigantic website all about cardigans now because all it is one of the categories. You got to have top nav, folks. That's fundamental. Just have a menu, have a nav menu, especially if you're a fashion company with, hundreds of products. That's just what I wanted to talk about. This website redesign is a dumpster fire. You can absolutely do better no matter what your budget is. So thanks for listening. Hope you guys have a nice weekend. See ya.